I'm continuing on now with the seat reconstruction, and before I go ahead I'm going to have a look at the way it was done. I retained the remnants of the old packing and wadding that was inside the seat back, and having a look at it, it is quite different to what I had proposed, mainly because I don't have the same materials. Now what we have in the back part of the seat is this sort of wadding. I don't know what you'd call it. It looks a bit like it could have come out of a coconut. You have that, and you have the cardboard backing piece, a bit of felt type material which I'd say is would have been about 10mm thick. Some other padding there that I think must have gone up over the edge of the seat frame. Now in underneath, it looks as if that horsehair come coconut wadding has really gone down around the frame, and I guess I'll have to try and replicate that. The backing board material, it's about 2mm thick, and looks as if it was not anchored down to the frame at all, but was part of the actual backing part of the seat. Looking at the actual cover, it seems to have, or doesn't seem to have, it has quite a thick cotton type wadding sewn to the vinyl. Now when I made the seat backings, I didn't actually use anything that thick. I did use some 5mm foam, but that's nowhere near as thick as this cotton wadding, so I will have to compensate for that a little bit. But that's the archaeology that we have to work off, and we'll have to do something with the materials that I have on hand. So basically what I have to work with, it's the seat frame, which I've sanded down, blasted and painted. Not the best paint job, but I did try and lay it on pretty thick to give it some protection. It's not seen, so it doesn't really matter, just as long as it's well protected. And then we have some backing board. I call this bitumen board, for want of a better term, and it is around about the same thickness as the stuff that came off the existing, or the old one. So that will be quite satisfactory for the backing. Now in the scheme of things, in the materials I have to work with, I have a 5mm foam, a 10mm foam, the backing part which I've cut out of 50mm foam, and I also have this wadding type material which I suppose would be around about 8 to 10mm thick. So that's what I have to work with, and that's what I've got to try and make or reconstruct these seats out of, using the materials I have. So I'll get on with it a little bit and show you how we're progressing. Right, well here's when I started to prepare a little earlier. I've cut the backing board out, and I've actually, rather than try to glue that on like some people do, I did see on Barney's site one fellow did it with cable ties, so I thought I'd try the same thing, and that worked quite well. I did drill quite a lot of holes in the backing board to actually fix it to the frame, but found that I didn't need that many. It all sat down pretty tight, with just those spaced around about, well, I guess you could say 4 to 6 inches apart. I've put new timber on the bottom for fixing the vinyl. I didn't screw that in. I had some nice big long pop rivets, so I pop riveted those on, and they're all nice and firm. So we've got the basis there now to start padding it out. What I have seen here is underneath that bar, between the bar and the backing board, is quite a big gap. It gets narrower as it goes towards the top, but I can get my finger underneath that there. So when I showed you the old original one where that horsehair stuff had gone down over the frame, I'm going to have to try and compensate for that a bit here. So what I'm thinking, I might cut some of that 30mm foam and actually lay it in there between the between those uprights, and that would probably also give a little bit of lumbar support. I won't take it right to the top. I might take it to around about here, and if it doesn't work out, we can always pull it out. But like I say, there's quite a big gap there, and we don't want to have sort of a void in there that might create some issues later on. What I thought I'd do is use this material to wrap around the back of on the backing board and up over the frame here and down under, and then locate the foam piece on top. I want to try and avoid having too much of a sort of a sharpish type edge on those two sides, because that's kind of where your back is, and you don't want to be uncomfortable in that area. But that's the plan of attack for the moment, and I'll start on that and see how it goes and give you an update on how that works out. Right, the original covering had a little bit of extra padding down the sides here, which went over the frame to smooth out that harsh sort of a curve. So what I've done is I've put a little bit of 5mm foam on that back wadding on both sides, and that smooths out that quite a lot. I've also cut a bit of foam to put in between those uprights, and I think this will work out okay. Well, I don't mind admitting that this has given me a little bit of grief, this thing. I've had this cover on and off a few times, and I've put padding in, I've taken it out. I'm getting it close, but if you look down around the edges here on both sides, it's a bit wrinkled. It doesn't seem to be padded out enough, and I've got extra padding in there. So I'm going to have to persevere with it and see if I can get it a bit better. This little bit of wrinkling here, that'll all come out when I clip it all down. But yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge, so I'll continue on and see if I can get it a bit better. Right, well, I don't mind admitting I struggled a bit with this. I've got a result. I'm not 100% happy with it. I might come back and see if I can fix it up a little bit, but there's a little bit of a sort of a pucker just there, and another one there, which, you know, it's not the end of the world, but I'm not 100% happy with it. Down the sides, there's a couple of tiny little creases there, but I've seen worse. So I'm going to call that a wrap for the time being, and I'll see how I go with the other one. But man, this was a bit of a challenge. Brought on, I think, really by the shape of the frame. Nothing's flat, it's all around the corner and curved, and yeah, I found it quite difficult to get that to fit nicely. But anyway, there it is for what it is, and I may revisit it. We'll see down the track, but I'll see how I get on with the other one.